Hello and welcome to Adventures of an Autistic. I am Stephanie Frosh and I am going to be discussing some theories today. I've been thinking a lot about my theories and I wanted to get some out there and get some feedback from the community, from autistic community, Dravet community, CBD users. I have a lot of theories in regards to a lot of different connections in regards to like nerve damage and things like that. So I am going to be providing theories for people to discuss. And I would like the discussions to be polite and respectful. None of my theories are coming from a place of hate or of thinking of a certain type of people negatively. My theories come from love and compassion and wanting to understand every human better. So I want to love all of you and help all of you. And I have theories, and hopefully the scientific community can back me up, and we'll be able to prove some of the theories and maybe get some changes made in medicine and have everyone be more comfortable and happy and smart and healthy and free and accepted. That would be amazing. So I am a theorist, not a conspiracy theorist, just a theorist. And my theories pertain to the human body, specifically my body. So every theory that I am discussing is the theory that I believe is true for my body. That is the Frosh theory. That is Stephanie Frosh. My body works this way. I would like to ask each and every one of you to think about whether or not your body works like my body, because I've been studying my body since I was born. My brain has been trying to figure out my ailments, my skin issues, my hair issues, my hormonal issues, my pain issues, my flexibility issues, my gut issues, my eyesight issues. My brain has been constantly hyper-focused on what is going on with me. So this theory, my Frosh theory, is going to delve into the different parts of my body, my personality, and my perspective that I believe are things that are true for me. And I would like to hear if they're true for you as well. Obviously, I can be wrong. Theories are theories. They're not facts. They're not proven. I would like anybody who has something that is scientific that proves that my theory is inaccurate to please provide the scientific evidence to say that my theory is not conclusive in regards to, the information that has been presented. Like I said, again, my theory is based off of my own body. I am not a medical professional. I am not trained, and do not take anything that I say as advice. Always seek medical care for any issues that you have, and if they're serious, always seek medical attention. Don't trust the words of me to make any changes to yourself. I am just giving an explanation of what I am doing for myself and thinking about my body and how to make myself healthier and happier. And this is the Frosh theory. All right, so I believe that autistic traits are a physical manifestation of chronic sensory stimuli. I believe of hyperstimuli. I believe that anyone experiencing hyperstimulus through the developmental stages of their cognitive development will present with autistic traits. And that is why there are so many people that have autistic traits, because it is a human trait. It's a human trait to show sensory response to stimulus. Autistic traits are over-responding or are overstimulated, one of the two. I believe that it's overstimulation. I believe that it is overstimulation in great part due to the hypermobility spectrum disorder being undiagnosed in autistic people. I believe that Dravet syndrome is EDS, undiagnosed in autistic people. I believe that autistic people have greater sensory stimuli receptors in the nociceptors. I believe that right down to the core of their tissue, they have heightened stimulus response. And that the reason that CBD oil helps people with epilepsy is because I believe that epilepsy is what happens to the brain when it reaches critical stimulus from the nerves. Once there is only so much stimulus that the brain can handle. Once it reaches a certain amount, your body starts to shut down. You start to die. Epilepsy and death are very related. Anybody who has dealt with a Dravet child personally can tell you about the fear of SUDEP. I believe when your brain experiences huge amounts of stimuli, you get a seizure. And a seizure kind of is a reset button, but everything is based around stimulus, pain. I believe that EDS has that one spectrum of genetically undiagnosable hypermobility syndrome because it's undiagnosed in the Dravet community. The Dravet community has what's called like the Dravet crouch, and also in EDS, there is a crouch gait as well associated with both areas of diagnosis. I believe that the autistic spectrum also follows the same hypermobility spectrum disorder. I believe that they are both a part of the spectrum, and that autistic people, their spectrum ends when their ability to communicate their pain ends. I believe that autistic people don't have the ability to communicate their pain in a typical way because their pain was present through their cognitive developmental stages. So they don't have an understanding of how to put pain on a scale of 1 to 10 because they have been in overstimulus since their developmental stages. I believe that women in general have hypermobility because of their need to have children. And I believe that the genetic markers that the geneticists can't find in the EDS hypermobility spectrum disorder and also in autism, I believe the missing link is the female gene of hypermobility in tissue, in connective tissue. I believe that epilepsy and autism are related to the gene that is responsible for your connective tissue elasticity and collagen. I would like to know if people in the scientific community have any evidence that can support or refute this study. This is a study of my body. I believe I am autistic. I believe that I have Dravet syndrome. And I believe that these things are connected and are currently having the diagnosing criteria as incorrect or incomplete, and they're actually connected. And that epilepsy also is, I believe that epilepsy also causes twitches, which go undiagnosed in the average person. And I do believe that the twitches is a sign of a stimulus imbalance in your nociceptors, in your vagus nerve, in your central nervous system. I believe that people who have tics, I believe that because tics are like jumping of the body. I believe that tics are actually forms of overstimulus, and that is actually causing the brain to experience it as pain or a disruption and a dysregulation. And when you're dysregulated, things are harder to control, like your emotions. And when you are extremely disrupted in your sensory stabilization, when it is disrupted, that you can lose your central nervous system's ability to maintain its body correctly. So you would see things like the autoimmune disorders coming out, lupus, Raynaud's, skin tissue issues like gout that would be associated, diabetes is associated. I believe that if we can figure out the CBD's role in regards to specifically why CBD is so helpful for epilepsy and for people with chronic pain. Everything ties together to say that, like, you know, chronic pain, chronic stimulus, and CBD go hand in hand. There's a lot of research articles stating that there is a connection there. So my theory, my Frosh theory, is that we need far greater amounts of CBD in order to lower the pain stimuli or just sensory stimuli in autistic people if you would like them to be able to cognitively function as the same level as somebody who is more socially in tune. I believe that having more social features of your personality is an example of having less sensory stimuli active in your brain so that you are able to concentrate and learn social interaction. I believe that the reason that autistic people struggle with social interaction and engagement is because the sensory stimuli is so heightened in their brain that they have to focus on thinking over the sensory stimuli versus a neurotypical person having less sensory stimuli present chronically. They are able to focus and to socialize and to learn how to engage with other people in a way that communicates faster and easier. Whereas an autistic person is struggling with sensory input dysregulation. This is my theory. Please don't attack me. I love autistic people. I believe I am autistic. I am not trying to cause anybody pain. I'm not trying to hurt anybody in any way. This is my theory that I have made based on the Frosh theory. Thank you for watching, and please give me any and all information that you would think is valid to support or to refute my theory. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.